Galen, this is Do You Know Hearthstone? The idea of the show is basically I take Hearthstone cards and slightly change things about them. This can include the mana cost, the stats, the text, the emblem, the art. Anything on a card can be changed. And I'm just going to say this now. There could be possibilities of 2 things changed on a card. I'm not going to tell you which card it is, but just so you are aware of it. There's also 2 other sections we've been doing, which is the sound. Basically, there is 1 play sound and 1 attack sound on a card. And you're just gonna have to tell me what card that is from. And then there's also the art section where I take the card's art, I pick a select portion of it, and then you gotta tell me what card it is from.
Sounds good.
Have you watched any of these? Just so I know what I'm getting into. I should have asked that
I
before,
have. I've watched, I actually watched a couple in preparation for this. I watched Cora. She did actually, I would say pretty well. I watched Thijs. I watched Language Hacker. That was like one of the recent ones. Very competitive. He's a very competitive dude. It showed in the podcast. Hopefully I don't get like blindsided here. I think I know Hearthstone cards. I might not be great with the audio because I also play like on my phone with the sound off. But hopefully besides that, I'll be able to steamroll some of these.
Okay, awesome. So just like normal, we're gonna start with the sound first, and I'm gonna send you the attack sound. So this will be the attack sound. And if you need 2 hints, I can give it for you the sound and the art.
Okay.
Not impressed.
Not impressed. Honestly, no clue. Yeah, this is probably the section that's going to be the weakest one. I need a hint.
Yeah, for sure. So it's in Voyage to the Sunken City, and it is a neutral card.
Voyage to the Sunken City, and it was a neutral card. Not impressed. Oh boy, that's not good. It sounds like a Naga. It sounds like one of the Naga that you wouldn't normally play in Standard. Like doesn't see playing Standard. It's not School Teacher. It's not Vicious Slither Spear. My guesses are like it's between Barbaric Sorceress, Baba Naga, and Slithering Death Scale. I'm just gonna random.org this. I think I'm gonna go with Slithering Death Scale. Probably wrong, but that's my guess.
You are wrong, and it's pretty funny that you said this card doesn't seem mad at play because it actually does. This is
no.
Blademaster Akani.
Oh no,
But
I was so wrong as well. It's not even a Naga. Okay.
Yeah, but to be fair, you don't often hear the attack sound of this card. You only hear the play sound. So I was very curious to see if you could get this one, but unfortunately, no. We'll move on to the play sound.
That sounds like a Colossal Minion. There's like water at the end, so it's coming out of the water. Give me 1 hint here. Yeah, this is the section that I'm going to struggle with.
1 hint. Okay, so it is a Colossal. You did get that right.
That's not a hint. That's not a hint. I already guessed that.
No. I wasn't going to give you that.
Okay. That's like the most useless hint of all time.
I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of what I could give you a hint just so I don't give it away. I will say it's not the priest one, because you did mention that it is not a priest one.
It's not.
I think that's the only hint I can give you without just strictly giving it away.
Gotcha. What other ones are like really? I don't think it's a lag. There's also like a creaky ship boat sound going on with like the wooden planks. Do you hear that kind of in the middle of it? I'm gonna go with Nelly. Hopefully that's right.
Unfortunately, Galen, it's not Nelly.
No. Okay.
It's Glug.
It's Glug. Good. We got the worst part out of the way. I figured I was gonna do pretty good.
Okay, interesting. All right, so often people tell me that the art is the hardest part, so let's see if you can actually do better on it. Yeah. We'll start with the very first art.
It is a compass. It has a hand. Let me think about this for a little bit. It seems like it might be forged in the Barrens. I need to think about this for a little bit. So if you give me like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. Take time. If you need hints, by the way, I can give you them, but let me know.
Okay. You know what? Give me 1 hint and I'll try to work off of that.
It is in the core set.
It is in the core set. Okay. Is it... Okay, this is kind of a random guess. Is it Beaming Sidekick?
It is Beaming Sidekick.
Okay.
It
has like the compass. It has the compass, and like I feel like the Beaming Sidekick would probably be someone who's like, hey, we have to go this way, not this way. So, okay.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
This is Cheaty Snowballed, right?
Damn. Yes, it is. Wow, Galen, look at you, man. That was the fastest anyone's gotten something.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Quick question for you. When you were like a pro player, did you look at the card art or did you just play the card because you knew what it did?
I don't think I really ever studied the card art, but I've played an embarrassing amount of Hearthstone in my time, Rarran, that you just start to like, it seeps in by osmosis. Like the more you play, it starts to, infect your brain until all you can think about is Hearthstone. So, yeah. I mean, it's good. But yeah.
All right, here's the last art.
The last art. Oh wow. This is a fake out. It's definitely not a beast. Or if it is, it looks like it would be a Quillbore that has this on one of its like various artifacts. I imagine that it's in the Barrens. Could I get one hint here?
It is a beast.
It is a beast? Oh boy. Okay. I need to think about it a lot more.
Yeah, it's in standard right now.
Okay. I have some really, really wrong answers that come to mind, but I don't know why they're there. Like, I don't know why Oasis Thrasher, but it's not. It's just my brain. Oh, you know what? It might be... Could it be Encumbered Pack Mule? I feel like this is something that an Encumbered Pack Mule might have on its back. No, the art is like very blue in the background. What? Am I taking too long? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get it right here, Rarran.
Take as long as you want to. It's all good. I will say that to you that this, you're kind of right. This is kind of a fake out. This is a thing you would not really notice on the card, even if you looked on the art. I will say that.
Yeah, I figured as much. It's wrong, but the only answer that comes to mind that could even be like 5% right is Encumbered Pack Mule.
So unfortunately, it's not Encumbered Pack Mule.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
It is Druid of the Plains.
You said these cards were playable in standard. Okay, I'm sorry, Druid of the Plains. You're super playable. Great design. But come on.
Like, wait, isn't it playable in standard? Or the, yeah,
Okay. See, when I took that, I thought it meant okay. Never mind. Playable has several definitions. I chose the wrong one. All right, let's keep going.
Oh, dude, that's my bad. I gotta remember you were like a pro player as well, so playable is actually a completely definition. That's so funny. Actually, I didn't even think of that.
Oh, I did not mean to roast it so hard. Okay.
Well, unfortunately, Galen, you did actually do pretty well on the art. Nothing on the sound, but we're going on to the card section.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, Galen, here's the first card.
Gam Am Rager. It's Am Gam Rager. So that part's wrong. It was a 3-mana 1/5. That was all right. I think it's just the name here.
You are correct. So yeah, it is Amgam Rager. It's just Magma Rager, but I guess just Magma backwards.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the first card. Congratulations. Let's move on to the next one.
Calling the Finishers is what it's called, not calling the Fishnishers. That's the Fishnishers. Mike Dene would be so disappointed in this false naming. Mike was someone who worked on Hearthstone for quite a while, but something that he did, and we want to continue to strive to do, is have really terrible Murloc puns in names. Like every Finn is awesome, you know. I think it's just the name. Summon 4/1/1 Murlocs. That sounds right. The art looks right. I think it was Moon Streets of Gajasan, and it was a Shaman card, so I think it's just the name here again.
Yeah, you were correct. I try to go for a Murloc pun, but it was so hard to actually think of another word for finisher that would also work. It just doesn't roll off the tongue very nicely. Yeah. Sorry, were you roasting the name that I gave it, or what the actual card is? Oh,
no, the name that you gave it. Come on. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I guess it just won't be a card designer. It's okay.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, what about this one?
Hidden Cache. After your opponent plays a card, give a random minion in your hand, +2/+2. Yeah, so it's a 2-mana Hidden Cache, rare, means to Gadget Sand, that's all correct. I think it's after your opponent plays a minion, give a random minion in your hand, +2/+2. I'm gonna lock that in.
Yeah, you are correct, yeah. I'm actually really surprised you knew this, because I'm pretty sure this card was unplayable. So,
yeah,
very
yeah,
cool.
It was a bad one. I remember seeing it for the first time and being like, +2/+2, isn't that just...
What about this card?
Blade of Cthulhu, destroy a minion, and it's like it gains its attack. I feel like it's a 9-mana 4/4 with Battlecry, destroy a minion. It is an epic. This is one where I might be tripping myself up because of the old wording. If there was a mistake here, I feel like it would be the second line, but this might be how it's worded actually. I'm gonna say this is correct.
All right, unfortunately, it's not correct.
Oh, darn.
You are right. Okay. It is worded really. It's also like the real card's also worded kind of weird. Add its attack and health to your Cthunes.
Yep, that is that is some wording. I like yours better, honestly.
Thank you.
If we had to go back in time and do Blade of Cthulhu, so templating is tough. Templating is very tough.
Yeah, you guys probably look back at these older cards and go like, what are they doing?
You know, it's interesting because I think like there's actually a lot of really cool things that they did on old templatings. One that stands out to me that I learned a lot from was Nerubar Weblord. It's 2 mana 1/4, and it says minions with Battlecry cost 2 more. And you might say like, oh, why wouldn't you just say Battlecry minions cost 2 more, right? If you think about it a bit, if you write Battlecry minions cost 2 more, it's easy to read that as like Battlecry minions cost 2 more.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So there's sometimes like the funky wording sometimes is actually just for clarity. Sometimes it's good to be inconsistent if it helps a lot with understanding what the card does the first time. Because really what matters is you read it the first time and you understand it for the rest of history.
All right, what about this card?
Arena Fanatic. This was give all minions in your hand +1/+1, and I think everything else about it was right. It was a common in Roscon's Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah, you were correct. Dude, you baffle me. Oh my god. Okay. How did you know that so fast, by the way? Did you play this card?
I played a lot of Hearthstone, Rarran.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay. I got it. All right,
Yeah.
all right, very interesting. What about this card?
Baron Geddon. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other characters. So I think the only thing wrong here is that all should be capitalized. Like it's all like all other characters. Pretty sure that when Baron Geddon got released, that's what it said. Because if you sit down to play Hearthstone for the first time, right, and you read all other characters, you might think, oh, it's just damages the enemy. But by bolding, like, or not bolding, but by capitalizing the all, you're like, oh, it damages me too, oh no. So I think this card is right, except for the fact that it is all in caps.
Yeah, you're correct. I was also gonna ask you why they capitalize all, but you just explained it right there. That was insane.
There's a couple places where we use like the all to really emphasize. We wouldn't do it on every single card, but especially something like Baron Geddon, where you get it in the core set as like a new player. It's really good to have like those kind of like learning hooks where players can be like, oh, this is sometimes how the game works. You know, I can damage my own stuff.
What about this card?
Archmage Aragal. After you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. In the Witchwood, I mean, it was a 2 mana 2/2 legendary. After you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. I don't remember the exact set. Witchwood, I feel like Aragal. So in World of Warcraft, Aragal lives in Silverfang Keep, and he like tries to make these werewolf experiments, which is very like spooky, foresty. So it sounds Witchwood. I want to say that this is correct.
So this is actually worded slightly differently.
Okay.
And I'm curious to hear the developer side of this as well. So I wrote after you draw a minion, which does make sense. It actually says whenever you draw a minion. I'm just curious to see why, from a developer standpoint, why it would be whenever instead of just after you draw.
That's a good question. Usually when there's like an after versus whenever trigger, there's like something hinky going on, and maybe like so whenever usually takes priority after. So like if you drew a card and that triggered something, whenever would come first. But basically, it guarantees the effect. Like if for some reason you drawing a card would mean that Archmage Aragal would die due to like some onboard trigger, the whenever trigger means that it happens before all that stuff would happen. So you always get the copy of the card. It also helps with clarity, is my guess. It's probably for that reason. I was not around when Aragal was designed, so you know there might have been more thoughts there that I'm not digging into, but that would be my guess.
Yeah, that one was a little cruel, but seeing how well you're doing, I'm kind of glad I put it in. What about this card?
Deathrattle, hide inside a friendly location, and when it is destroyed, release this. Rarran, you got to do better. If you're gonna make a fake card, you gotta do better. First of all, look at the bottom, right? When it is destroyed, release this. The period and the I are clipping the 5 and the 3 on the templating.
I will say this, Gallon, I did not actually make this card.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna say fake.
It is fake, yes. I'm just curious. I just pulled this card from the collection of like custom cards. Do you think the design is good for the set? And if you had extra card slots, you guys would have put it in.
You know, so there's something kind of interesting about like the hiding inside these places. You know, Halkias does something pretty similar with secrets. I think that it's interesting, but we probably wouldn't have done Halkias and Unsettled Spirit in the same set.
Yeah, I didn't make this card though, Gallon. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Whoever did. I did not mean to. Okay.
This card.
Arcane Golem. So it was a 3 mana 4/2. I mean, so it depends. So I don't know why I would specify empty here, because your opponent would get Mana Crystal on their turn and it would refresh, so it'd be the same thing. So I think you nix the word empty here, and then otherwise it's right.
You're correct, Alan. That's exactly what it is. which is insane. For clarity reasons, you wouldn't write empty mana crystal because there's no need for it. It's just redundant. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
You may not seem like it, but I'm making mental notes here for the next contestant I do this for. Because I'm also doing it for Leo next Tuesday.
Ooh,
so I gotta remember
go.
all these things that you're saying because
he'll be a lot of fun. He's quite good at the guessing game with the obscure cards.
What about this one?
Blood Reaver Gul'dan. No, it's on Summon 7. Just resummon all friendly demons that die this game.
All right, Galad, you are correct. All right, what about this card?
7/7 Murlocs that died this game. You know that the text box is right on anything can happen. Unfortunately. It was League of Explorers. It was 10 mana. I know. Was it a rare? I feel like it was a rare too, which it should not be. It should definitely be an epic. Yeah, I'm gonna lock in that this card is correct.
Yeah, you are correct. I was trying to do like a blindside for Blood Reaver Gul'dan into anything. Now, what's the logic behind 7/7 Murlocs then?
It's a great question, Rarran. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, fair enough. All right, what about this one?
Play 4 cards from other classes, reward Ancient Blades. So it wasn't play 4 cards, it was add 4 cards from other classes to your hand. I think the reward was just Ancient Blades, but yeah, the first part of the quest, and it was Saviors of Doom, so I think it was just the quest was add 4 cards from other classes to your hand.
Yeah, you were correct, Alan. Jesus Christ, you're insane.
Yeah,
you might actually be the best contestant at this. This is incredible.
I've played too much Hearthstone.
What about this one?
Auchenai Phantasm. It was a 2-mana 3/2. Auchenai Phantasm. It doesn't strike me as a thing we would make in Rusticon's Rumble. I think the logo is off. I'll lock that in.
It is actually from Rusticon's Rumble. This is a real card.
Okay. Unfortunate.
Real card. I thought the wording would have tripped you out more because it's worded really weird too. Like this turn, your healing effects.
Yeah, so generally something that we do on cards to make them like readable is we put the input before the output. So like, you know, Battlecry, your healing effects deal damage instead this turn, kind of puts like the qualifier, how long it's gonna last at the very end. So when player first reads it, you know, your healing effects deal damage instead on the Battlecry. They might read it as, oh, for the rest of the game when I, you know, heal something, it deals damage. But putting this turn at the start, players say, oh, okay, so it's just for this one turn only. I have to think a lot more, you know, combo-y rather than just for the rest of the entire game.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, what about this card?
Your minions trigger their Deathrattles twice. Wouldn't it just be your Deathrattles trigger twice? It was a 4-mana 3/6, Necromechanic. I think it's just your Deathrattles trigger twice.
So you are actually correct in this as well. That it is your Deathrattle trigger twice. What about this one?
Astral Tiger, shuffle this minion into your deck. 4-mana 3/5. This is a beast. Is it a beast? Is it no longer a beast? I feel like it'd be weird if this wasn't a beast, but maybe it's not a beast. It was Kobolds and Catacombs. It was a 4-mana 3/5 that said Deathrattle, shuffle this minion into your deck. It wasn't epic. It is very, very ghostly. I feel like this is something that it might have been a beast at one point and then got updated to not be a beast, because we did that with, what's his name, like Ghostly Charger, the 5-mana 3/4 Divine Shield and Russian Paladin, who used to be a beast, no longer a beast. I'm gonna say that this is real.
So this is actually a fate card, because the effect is slightly different. It is shuffle a copy of this minion in your deck, not the minion itself.
Gotcha. Well, at least I didn't say that it was a beast. I got that part right. This would have been a great fake out, by the way. Like, you know, put the beast tag on here, and no one would guess it.
When I did it with Cora and her brother last time, I actually had Ghostly Charge or whatever, the Paladin card you just said, and I did put it as a beast. And I like 0.1 second, they already called it out. So that's why I was like, there's no way I could do it again. What about this card?
We summon this with the Nathria Living Garden. I was the Nathria Living Garden. Okay. Nope. The fake cards are very easy to spot. They're
yeah,
much
for
easier
sure.
to spot than the...
So basically, the only reason I added them in recently is that I got Ally with one of them because it was like very seamlessly into Ashes of Outlands, and obviously the meta in Ashes of Outlands was like mostly Demon Hunter, so it's hard to remember a lot of these like niche cards. I was more curious what you thought about the design of this card.
Deathrattle resummon this with +1/+1. It seems like something that I would be a bit scared to do in neutral, to have like a repeated infinite minion. I think having this be in neutral and also like never die if your opponent doesn't have silence probably feel pretty bad to play against, because it's just like if your opponent doesn't silence it, then you win any control mirror. So we probably wouldn't do this, especially not in neutral.
Yeah, I get what you mean though. It'd be like it's like an auto loss against certain decks. So definitely a scary design. What about this one?
On will kill, give your other minions Divine Shield.
Gallon, you gotta stop being so good at this. You're correct. What about this one?
Restore 4 health, corrupt, deal 4 damage. I feel like it said corrupt, deal 4 damage instead, because otherwise this reads as like it would restore 4 and then deal 4. So we would definitely put instead here. And if we didn't, then we need to talk about Dark Moon Fairy not being very well templated.
Luckily for you, yeah, you're correct, yeah. What about this card?
Circus Amalgam, 4 mana, 4/5 with Taunt. I think that this specifies on the card that this has all minion types. Let me think about it for a little bit. It was a 4 mana 4/5. I think it says that it has all minion types. Like this has all minion types as like reminder text.
Yeah, you are correct. Yeah, it does actually state that on the card. Is there a reason why Amalgam from Voyage into the Sunken City doesn't have it? I guess it's just like the amount of room you had on the card.
Yes, I mean, I think like with Amalgam of the Deep, we had this really sweet effect that we wanted to make, but it takes a lot of sentences to get there. So what we decided to do was, hey, we still want this to be an Amalgam because it fits into so many of these different minion type strategies that we're setting up in Voyage to the Sunken City. But what we'll do is we will rarity shift it to Epic. And that way, you know, it's something that like more experienced players might have in their collection, and we don't really need the reminder text at that point.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Gallon, this is your very last card. You went through a lot of these extremely quick, which is pretty sick, to be honest.
Sweet.
What about this one?
Body Wrapper. Discover a friendly minion that died this game. It shuffles it into your deck. I think everything else about this card is right.
How do you... Okay, yeah, you're correct. I'm actually baffled how fast you get this. Like, it's amazing. A lot of people will take their time to think about the card more often, but you seem so confident, which is awesome. It's good to know that you're a developer, Gallon. You deserve it.
I'm glad. I went in thinking that I'd do pretty well here because this is something that we do like on the back end quite a bit. But I was so ready to crash and burn, especially after the first 2 sound effects that were like, I have no idea. So, you know, I'm glad that I picked it up at the end there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tally yours, but I think you might be the highest percentage person if we just consider cards. You did extremely well. That was crazy. I'm really excited to see how well Leo does compared to you at this point.
Me too. Me too. I'll give him some words of encouragement.
You actually helped me a ton here though for like picking cards and how to rearrange the text. So I do appreciate it. And again, I don't want to take too much of your time because you're probably extremely busy. So Gallon, I appreciate you coming. I hope you had fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Rarran. No, I'm glad that I can make it a challenge mode for Leo when he comes on. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.